It is October. Spooky season is upon us. And I say that, and the sky is getting scarily dark, which isn't like darkness of the evening, it's just dark. Um, but it's fine. We do have and this sounds like I'm about to announce something really sad when I'm gonna say is Amelie. Well, it is sad that Amelie isn't here, but it sounded like I was gonna introduce it like Amelie has left us and
Passed away.
yeah. Amelie is not with us this month. Amelie has moved to university. So it's a little bit hectic for her to jump on and join us for this month. So instead, we have drum roll, please. I don't know if that's going to come through the microphone.
No,
Have Toby. Toby is back
Yay.
with us.
Hello again,
he's back.
folks. Hello again. It's
We're
great
back.
to be back. Great to be talking about some more films that are coming up and all of that good stuff. And yes, it's really nice to be back with you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, it is sad that Emily. Just imagine if it was four of us doing it. That'd be so fun, so chaotic, but fun.
It'd be very
yeah.
long. Maybe we should do it like the end of the year as like a whole kind of like not like a look back
Oh,
on the year.
yeah, like a big roundup kind of thing. Hand
Uh,
out awards, frame by frame awards.
frame by frame awards. You've
Oh,
done
pretty
something
good.
now.
No. Oh no.
Oh,
We're gonna have to do this
Yeah,
show now. That's
I
gonna
feel,
have to
feel
be a
like
film of the year. Frame by frame
fan
film of the
favorite,
year.
star favorite, and fan favorite or customer favorite.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I like that.
we're gonna do that.
I'm gonna write that down right now before I
Taking
forget
a note.
on a piece of paper that I will probably lose. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if it
but
actually happens now or this is or
yeah,
goes into the ether. Well, I
award.
guess this podcast is kind of the note at this point as well. But
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got the films are already actually on sale and it's like not even oh it's the last week-ish of September, but they're all on sale. So we've got some great ones to talk about and we've got a range this week. We always have a range, but this is a range. We have kids films and bit of Saoirse Ronan and bit of DC. I'm very excited. Um, but to kick us off, it is spooky season, as I've said about three times.
Ooh.
However, if you what is your go-to spooky season film? Doesn't have to be scary. It could be a Christmas film for all I care about. It's like what do you sit down and watch in like this time of year for your like comfort film?
I mean, if you're talking about comfort film, it's weird that you say Christmas film because The Nightmare Before Christmas is
Yeah,
one of my
Yes, it's
absolute
true.
favorite all times,
yeah.
like all time films. But it is always a bit of a thing with like, do you watch that at Christmas? Do you watch that at Halloween? When
Yeah,
is the
that's my
right time to
question.
watch
You just
that?
watch it whenever. Do you watch it on a random
All year
Tuesday in
round.
March?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's probably a comfort one that I like. But otherwise, I always love finding a new horror film. I always have to watch a
True.
horror film on
Okay.
Halloween itself. But yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas is sort of the old reliable, as it were. But
That's fair
Well,
enough.
on a
Yeah.
similar theme to you, Zach, because same director, I'm quite a fan of Coraline, which just
oh,
turns
Mm.
15 this year, which means I'm gonna have to give that a rewatch.
15.
Yes, it turns 15. Where's
Wow.
that time gone? And also, this is quite a niche one. And it'd be interesting if either of you have heard of this, and if any of the people at home have heard of this. But the 1986 classic, The Worst Witch, starring Tim Curry and Diana Rigg, which is only about 50 minutes long. It's based on a
Mm.
kid's book. It has some really weird songs in it. It's a musical, including, I think, Tim Curry's finest hour as the chief wizard who does this very weird song with these very interesting special effects. And on the
Okay.
subject of Tim Curry, also Rocky Horror is, you know,
Yes.
a
oh,
favourite of mine.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna say I didn't know that film. That's
You have to
definitely a very niche and unique one. I mean,
check it out, check it out. It's,
Yeah.
a horror musical. It's not actually horror, it's not particularly scary at all, apart from some funny faces that a kid pulls. But
oh,
No, I've heard of it.
it's also been like a slightly more popular TV series as well. But like the film is a
Uh,
separate continuity.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. But still, I'm gonna I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
That's my spooky list.
Good,
It's
Yeah.
good.
Definitely win the niche award on that one. So
yeah,
that's good. I'll have to give that a watch. That'll have to be my new film for this
yes.
Yes,
Halloween.
do. I think my new one this year might be. I feel like I've missed, because I feel time was the time for Last Night in Soho. Not seen it, but I think
Mm,
this year might be the year.
Oh,
yeah.
that's really weird that you mentioned it because the year it came out, I watched it on Halloween in the cinema.
Oh, that must be
Actually,
Ooh,
something.
that is
I
a
need to
weird little
watch
connection.
Uh,
But yeah, that's a good. I can confirm that that is a good Halloween watch. So I would
Good,
definitely
a bit of Edgar Wright, a
try
bit
it
of
out.
Matt Smith.
Yeah,
What's not to like?
Is it Matt
exactly.
Smith is in like
Eleventh Doctor.
yes, it is,
Yeah.
isn't it? And has it also got Anya Taylor-Joy in it? Or making that
Oh
Yes.
up?
Yep.
yes,
Okay. No, it's all coming back to me now. I remember seeing it and I was like, I need to watch that, and then I never did.
yes. I imagine
Oh,
it's better than the other Matt Smith horror film that comes to mind, which is Morbius.
Yeah. That's a horror film in a different meaning. It's a
oh
it's a
no.
horrific to
Oh
watch.
I
wow.
watched that on the same day as my first A level exam, and I think
Oh
getting
God,
myself through that was slightly more of an ordeal than said A level exam.
I can imagine that
Oh,
actually.
that's
Oh God.
that's a statement. That is a
Yeah.
statement.
It was
Wow. No,
it
I
certainly was a movie. It certainly
Yes.
was a movie.
it was a movie.
Yeah.
It was just a movie.
So I have
Yeah.
heard of someone on the internet who's seen it 89 times.
Oh,
Why?
that I mean, should we be concerned for
Yeah.
uh, the mental health at that point? I mean,
Yes.
oh God,
Oh,
Really?
they
that's
yeah. I don't even have any words for that. That's just
that's impressive for any movie, let alone
Let's
that one.
just kind of leave that thing alone, and why
Yeah.
don't we talk about some non-scary
yes.
films that aren't going to
Yeah.
traumatize us, that
Yes.
aren't going
Yeah.
to aren't going to give us nightmares.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch something funny after this anyway. Um, but yeah, it's I'm excited to watch some spooky films, but I think I'll hold off for I need to catch up some good films first. The good films first. Not like
Yeah.
happy films, not
I have a
not
comforting
bad.
film. Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, so we've got some spooky season films at the cinema, and we've got we'll talk about that more at the end because we've got a screening pop up with Fairycroft House for Halloween on Halloween, which is gonna be really cool. But first, I'm gonna quickly talk to you about Buffalo Kids, which is a kids film. It's not out quite yet. It's not actually out until the 11th of uh it's not actually out until the 11th of October, and then we've got it on a couple of weeks later or a week or so later. But it's it's one of those films that we've had where it's a Spanish film which is dubbed English and distributed in English as well as the Spanish side of it. So I think it's Warner Brothers that are actually distributing it, or one of the distributors. And it's directed by Juan Galoca and Pedro Garcia. And Juan is actually done Tad the Lost Explorer, who we've always also had that kids film. And then both of them together did Mummies as well. So we've had both of them. Yeah, I remember, yeah, because Toby, you were saying, I feel like that's the same people that did those films. But they look similar as well. Like you can tell they're in the same kind of like the animation looks very
Like
similar.
same
So
sort of
I
family
didn't
of
actually, sorry.
Hmm.
same sort of family of films.
Yeah,
Might
yeah.
even be in the same universe. You never know.
Oh, we could have a
Mm.
I need a name for these films, but yeah, we could have a Juan and Pedro universe.
The Juan and
Okay.
Pedro extended universe, the
Yeah.
cinematic universe. Incredible.
Oh, that'd be great. Mummies and explorers, and now Irish children.
Oh, because of course that's the next
Yeah.
logical step.
There's a
Yeah,
clear through line.
exactly. So yeah, so it's a Spanish film which has been dubbed English. So the English cast is actually very, very good. You've got Alicia Wire, Gemma Arterton. I can't. Wow, every time I go to say her name, I can't say her name. Gemma Arterton. There we go. Okay. Sean Bean or Sean Bean.
Sean Bean, I
Okay,
Sean
think.
it's
Bean.
Sean Bean because
Yeah.
I've heard people saying Sean Bean, and I'm like, surely that's not right.
No, I
I
think
think
it's
Scene
Sean
Bean's
Bean.
just more fun to say, isn't it? I
I
think
know.
that's
I
why
think that's
people say
what. Yeah.
Scene Bean. Like,
Exactly. Sean Bean. Yeah, Sean Bean and Stephen Graham as well.
Ooh.
So it's got a good four solid names.
Hmm.
There's also Conor McNeil who plays Tom, which is the older brother of Mary, voiced by Alicia. So Mary and Connor are orphans and they're from Ireland. They arrive in New York via ocean liner in 1886. And they basically come off this boat and they get into like the predicament already. They got off this boat and their uncle's supposed to have picked them up. Their uncle hasn't arrived, and Mary's like, let's go find him, or let's like travel and get to like where he lives and we'll find him. And it's kind of they end up on this train with a group of orphans and their caretaker. And I think the caretaker is played or is voiced by Gemma Arterton, I believe. It's clearly gonna be a U. Like I'd be surprised if it would even be a PG. Like from the trailers, it's very happy. Like there's no like darkness. There's jokes in it, and like there is obviously like a bad guy in quotation marks. Um, but it's very very light and it's very very easy to watch. And the same with what Mummies and Tad the Lost Explorer was. It's just
Hmm.
very light.
As a just a point of information, I will say, just for
Mm.
people wondering, Buffalo Kids is in fact a PG
Oh,
It's a
for
PG.
mild threat and violence. So
wow.
when you're going to the cinema, just consider that. But obviously, what Riley says is still
Wow.
I mean, it's
absolutely true.
obviously a
Is
universe where you're
you
supposed
know
to like, it's obviously a universe where it grows with the audience.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm actually really surprised. I was convinced it was going to be you. Wow, you've
no,
just blown my
I've
mind.
blown the mind.
It's
But
like the
no,
children would be 5 when Tad came out, and now they're gonna be like 8 or something. And it's like
yeah, exactly.
progression. They would have matured. They'll be ready to see like more like mature cinema.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's a mild threat.
Yeah.
You just like I everything I've just said, I'm like, I'm gonna have to rethink it. No, it's fine. Wow,
No, it's still
TV.
very true. It's still very like, obviously it's got those elements of a bad guy and
Oh yeah.
the traditional Western elements, but it's not got the hard edge to it you would expect like
Yeah.
an actual Western to have. It's obviously all very playful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very playful and there's a lot of the jokes that are in the trailer are just like silly jokes. It's like toilet jokes basically, quite literally. So that is like that's the tone of it. It's not a film that I would obviously, well, not obviously. It's not a film that I would choose to see and expect to enjoy it. I do feel like it would be a good film and I would
Mm.
enjoy it, but not all of it. I just feel like some of the jokes would be quite funny because the trailer did make me laugh. And I think it'd be quite interesting to see as well because basically on this train journey, when they join this group of orphans and their caretaker, they meet a new friend. I haven't managed to find his name, but this little boy is a wheelchair user and is like wheelchair bound and can't speak or doesn't speak. So it will be interesting to have that in a kids film.
Yeah, it'd be interesting how they do it.
Mm.
The awareness is coming into films, like you're getting a much more
Yeah.
diverse like focus on characters that you don't actually usually see in films,
Yeah.
especially I mean I know Disney are bringing in well you can see in the last few films like even in Turning Red like you've got such a diverse group of characters for
Yeah.
the main focus
Mm.
and beyond that, and you're seeing more people with disabilities, you're seeing more races, you're
Yeah.
seeing more nationalities. Yeah, so having like this little boy as one of the main characters, and I think a part of the story kind of revolves around them becoming friends with him.
Okay.
I would be interested to see it for that and how they do it with that because I don't obviously you don't want to watch it and it to be like you don't want to be not cringing, but you're not going to
Yeah.
you don't want to sit there and think, I don't think they should have done it like that. That's more actually harmful than actually doing good from showing this
Mm.
character in a wheelchair and mute. But yeah, no, I think it's quite light, and I think it's they do like explore friendship and kind of treating everyone equally, and I think it would be quite cute from that angle. Still not my first
Mm.
choice of film, but that is because I am not the target audience.
No, no, I wouldn't imagine you were. I
No.
mean, It
I
depends.
didn't.
To
I
be fair,
didn't.
I enjoy a good Western.
Yeah,
To be fair, I'm a big Western fan, so maybe this is one I'll, sit there weirdly with all the children watching,
yeah.
Yeah.
but
It's
hopefully don't look too weird.
I mean, I would see it. It reminds me like the same vibe of I don't know if either of you have seen or even heard of Hoodwinked, which had Anne
Oh,
Hathaway
I
in.
love Hoodwinked.
Yeah.
I love
Same.
Hoodwinked. I literally like rave about it to everyone who will listen. Cult
It's
classic.
great.
Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gave
And
me
I
those
feel like
vibes as well a little bit.
yeah,
You know.
it's
Yeah.
I know, I mean I know like Hoodwinked seems like it was probably a little bit darker. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think I'd have to rewatch it, but I don't know. It just seems very similar to like that kind of adventure.
Yeah. And the animation style's not
Story.
too dissimilar. Obviously, it's kind of gone
Yeah,
on in terms of now it's 2024, so the animation
yeah,
is, much more
Yeah.
polished. But I
yeah,
feel like it's not a dissimilar style to anyone who
yeah.
has seen Hoodwinked who's listening right now.
Oh,
It's probably,
Anne
um,
Hathaway, you changed my life in Hoodwinked, honestly.
yeah, yeah, it's
Oh, that's a good film. But yeah,
brilliant.
it's yeah, I think it's just one of those films that you can go see it for your first time in the film. Oh, you can take your kids to see it if their first cinema trip. You can
Mm.
take like the entire family and just kind of have a nice outing at the cinema. So obviously it's not out yet. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of trailers out there in English, so I watched a lot of the Spanish trailers, which was fine because it's like I
Mm.
wanted to see like the animation and if there was any other clips I hadn't seen, because I saw the English dubbed one in the cinema, and then there was another clip, because I was like, well, where does like the name come from? Like, I thought it was going to be a film about kids on like I don't know in the
Riding
wilderness
buffaloes.
with a buffalo, right?
Yeah.
You'd expect that. Um, but no, there is actually a clip, I think, when they get off the train at one point, and I think this is like the tipping point because they get off the train, I think it stops. They're in the middle of nowhere, like the train's broken down or something. I'm not quite sure. They get off and there's like a field of buffalo. And so Mary and Tom and their new friend get off the train and they walk over to these buffaloes and there's a really touching moment where they're kind of all just standing there and a massive buffalo comes along and he's really cute and really fluffy. That's not what well. Anyway, so like this buffalo's approaching them and the little boy in the wheelchair is just like so excited and like thrilled that this massive beast is like coming to say hello. Um and yeah, it's just this really like moving moment of like Mary basically picking up the boy's hand and like putting it out for the buffalo and the buffalo comes and like puts his nose on his hand. um, and it's just I feel like that sums up what the film is going to be like. There's just going to be like these really nice little nuggets of emotion in it. And
Mm.
then that happens, and in the same scene, basically the train leaves them behind. And I think that's where they start to like they
Oh,
have to go cross country, and there's the
yeah.
Western comes into it, and
Mm.
the adventure part of it. So that was really interesting to see, and I don't even think that was one of the Spanish clips, but I don't even think they said anything. It was just like soundtrack and
Mm.
animation, which was really nice.
Nice.
I still don't understand where the name Buffalo Kids come from. I have a feeling you will find out, like, if you watch the film, that
Probably.
it would make a bit more
Mm.
sense, like,
Yeah.
to do with them. Like, there's something there.
Well, I mean that buffalo's obviously, the reason for their trip, isn't it? So
Yeah,
they might be the Buffalo Kids just off on the basis of that. But
exactly.
um
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean it's interesting we're getting a Spanish film over here.
yeah.
And also I mean with it being animated, kind of like you were saying, like like there wasn't loads of dialogue to it. And
Mm,
in fact we have a whole different voice cast in this version
mm,
of it. It's kind of a really cool thing, like the animation does, that it's kind
Yeah.
of much more universal. You don't
Yeah.
have to be sat there reading subtitles. It can be translated into kind of any language and go anywhere. And especially when you have those sequences, like you say, where it is like just, no dialogue and it's just this kind of
mm,
warm moment with
Yeah.
kids and an animal. It's
Yeah.
even more accessible to,
Yeah.
anyone
It's
in any country.
Yeah,
mm,
very true. Because to think, this summer we've had Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, which has been very popular and has been very
mm,
popular,
Mm,
around the world. It's kind of nice, and I don't have any statistics to back this sort of hunch up, but I
mm,
would imagine that they have been enjoyed by families, you know, all over the
Yeah.
world
Yeah. Oh
and,
yeah,
you know, on
definitely.
its own level because, you know,
Yeah. Film is for
especially for
everyone.
me, as comedy knows no
Yeah.
Mm.
borders, animation knows no borders, making
Yeah.
animated
Yeah.
comedy, good.
Exactly.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Yeah. I do. I mean, I like that about film is like film is for everyone, but especially with animation, like yeah,
Mm.
like you said, you don't have to really even well, I know with any film, but with animation, you don't have to understand really what's being said, even if it's like if it's not in your language, that's fine because you can
Mm.
still pick up on even like the mood of it through the animation. It's
Yeah.
just beautiful to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah.
Um, and you do have that freedom of dubbing it or watching the subtitles. Yeah, so we've had quite a few of the Spanish films that have been dubbed English. So we had The Mummies and Tad Lost Explorer, and I'm sure we've had another one as well.
Mm.
And there will probably be more, but they seem to really work and they get good casts as well. And I'm sure
Yeah.
like Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry was in one of them. And I feel like that's Tad and the Lost Explorer. I'd have to double check that, but it's nice to have a kids film like this. And this is coming up. So we've only got it on twice. We've got it on Saturday the 19th and Sunday the 20th of October, and they're both in the afternoon at 2:30. So yeah, that'll be a nice kind of mid-October, mid-spooky
Yeah,
season
sort of
film
kicking
for
off the
the
half
kids.
term.
Mm.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
but if you don't have kids or you don't want to come to see Buffalo Kids, there's other films on.
Yes. I mean, this very sort of natural sort of transition to if you want something a little bit more on the adult side, you
Mm.
can come and see the Outrun, which is showing 4 times in October, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, all evening apart from the 13th, which is the afternoon, and the 14th of October showing is subtitled. So this is directed by Nora Feinscheit, and it's from a screenplay she co-wrote with Amy Liptrot, based on Liptrot's memoir, so true story, and it's a co-production with Germany, and it stars obviously Saoirse Ronan, who produces the film, and also plays Rhoda, who is a recovering alcoholic. So she grew up in the Orkney Islands, then she moved to London for her adult life, but then it's all, she's sort of come off the rails a little bit because of her alcoholism. Her relationships have been damaged, so she spends some time rehabbing and she comes back to Orkney and, just trying to sort of move through this process. I mean, we meet her when she has been sober for about 2 months or so. And there's this very kind of, I think this line is going to stick with a lot of people. It never gets easy, it just gets less hard. Because I
Mm.
think
Mm,
with a lot of things, not just alcoholism, like I
yeah.
think there are a lot of things like grief and other forms of addiction and
Yeah.
relationship breakups and things that I think that line will ring true to a lot of people. And I think that kind of message will be what draws people to this film. I mean,
Mm.
it's got a fantastic cast. I mean, obviously, Saoirse Ronan, as we said, Papa Essaydo, who people will probably know from I May Destroy You, and he was also in the RSC for a number of years, doing, the main Shakespeare plays. And Scottish BAFTA winner, Isaac Hoyle, who people know from Boiling Point, and Emmy nominee, Stephen Delane from Game of Thrones. And, this is a name that if you know this person, you'll know this person. Nabil Elominadi, who was in Ali G and Top Boy. And he was also, this will, for the people who know this, they'll get very excited about this. Played Gary in Only Fools and Horses
Uh,
in, one of the classic episodes where Del Boy and Rodney accidentally kidnapped someone when they go to France to buy some cheap wine. They accidentally kidnap the son of a French billionaire, and then they have to take him. They
wow.
have to
Oh god.
sort of hold him hostage in their flat until they can go back to France to relieve him. And they call him Gary, and because that's got to be the only name he can repeat. And it's, for the people who know Only Fools and Horses, they'll be quite excited by this. I was quite
Mhm.
excited, like Gary, Gary.
Oh wow.
Anyway, enough about Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
So it's it's only obviously it's been at film festivals since the start of this year. It's already won an award. which I
Oh,
think is a good
really?
sign. Yes,
Oh
it
wow.
won the Silver Medallion at the Telluride Film Festival. That was Saoirse Ronan who won that, because of her role in the film, which is quite good.
Wow.
And hopefully that'll be the first award of many. I think it will be. I think it might, do very well in award season early
Mm.
next year. And one thing that I think I really took away from this, and it's when I was watching some behind the scenes interviews for the promotion of the film, is that it just goes to show how much alcohol is such like a big part of UK culture. I mean, just
Mm,
obviously
Yeah.
world culture in general, obviously UK culture, and that is harmful for some people,
yeah.
especially,
Mm.
it's not just from an addiction point of view, it's just alcohol can
Yeah.
be harmful for people.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
be the sort of wrong form of escapism, and that is very much examined because Rona, the main character, she had a very traumatic childhood that kind of gets alluded to in various ways, and sort of the alcohol then becomes the way that she can escape from the traumas of her life, but that doesn't make it better in the long run. That
Mm,
makes it
Mm.
worse.
yeah.
I think, obviously, not only, as I've just said, not only does that examine how big alcohol is a part of our culture, it's one of those things we could swap out for anything. Because I'm sure most of us have a fairly unhealthy way of dealing with trauma or
Mm,
stress or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it just, I think I don't want to be that cliched. This film will make you think, but it
Yeah.
does. It
I
is
think,
kind of one of
yeah.
those
Mm.
things where you come away with a lot to process. It's not
Yeah.
one of those ones you can just come for 2 hours of mindless entertainment that
Yeah.
will then
Mm.
just be sort of instantly in the back of your mind as soon as you leave our car park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This to be a film that stays with you.
Yeah.
It's not a feminist film, and it's not a woman's film. I mean, I hate terms like that. It's
Mm,
not one of those films that's, is there is there's a lot of male characters as well as female characters, but obviously it's one of those ones that's very, it would be a very different film if it
mm,
was a
Mm.
man, I think, if it had been a
yeah.
Yeah.
male protagonist. I mean, the reviews have said, because this is Nora Feinscheid's third feature film, I've not seen her other two, so, but the reviews have said about how there's this continued visceral exploration of the scarred female psyche, as one review put it,
Yeah.
which I think, when you hear that, it kind of thinks, this is the story that needs to be told.
Yeah.
Mm.
And there's been lots of praise for Ronan's emotionally charged performance, which
Yeah,
I
I can
think
imagine.
rings
Yeah.
very true as it is an intense one. And also, one advantage is that it avoids some of the cliches that you sort of get from memoir adaptations within the cinema. I think that's obviously helped by the fact that this book only came out a few years ago, I think 2016, and Amy Liptrot
Mm.
co-wrote the screenplay to the film. So it's not one of those ones that just focuses on the wrong things.
Yeah.
Can happen.
Yeah.
The ones that will focus on the wrong things to get people in, to get people through the doors. This is an honest and a harrowing account, and it won't just be Framey Liptrot. This will be a story that I think lots of people will be familiar with.
Yeah.
And I think, and even if you don't know someone in, if you're blessed not to know someone in your life that's going through a battle like this, you will know of people, and you'll just
Yeah.
be able to, I think, have at least a degree of being able to identify with this struggle. So,
Yeah.
so I think it
Yeah.
would be one worth seeing.
Yeah. I think like this like from I don't even think I've seen the full trailer, but seeing the few clips and the few parts of the trailers that I've seen, it's like you said, I think regardless of if you have like personal experience or like you know someone who's going through a very similar thing, even if it's not to do with alcohol, I think anyone who loves storytelling and like character like a really like character driven person, like I
Mm.
love characters. Like sometimes I love the characters more than the story. the story could be terrible, and I'm like in love with these characters and what they're being put through and what they like their potential and their past and whatever. But I think if you're someone like that and you watch this film, I'm not even gonna say you might. I know that you're gonna be like affected by it from the acting, from again what the characters are being put through. You're gonna
Mm.
be affected by it, like emotionally.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really excited to see because I just know, even if I don't like the story, I'm
Mhm.
I'm gonna be an emotional wreck from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's. I don't think it's technically is an indie, but it's sort of got that spirit of an
Yeah,
Yeah.
indie a
yeah,
lot
it's
more with its
that
character
very
focused over
much
plot.
character focused, and also another important element is that it's all filmed within the Orkney Islands, and I think that's
Oh
another
wow.
important thing, and that's why we're so blessed that there are so many productions taking place against, the whole sort of all across the UK,
Mm,
having less things in London, less things in England, really, and kind of not just even just showing, some of the beautiful areas we have in the UK. It's telling these stories because,
yeah.
this happened in the Orkney Islands. It'd be very easy
Mm,
to set it in the Isle of Dogs, but they don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. And I think, showing these people's lives
mm,
authentically, because I think everyone deserves to be able to see themselves within media. That's something I feel
Mm,
very passionate about,
yeah.
not just in
mm,
films, but just in general.
Yeah.
Everyone
mhm.
should be able to have a mirror reflection of themselves once in a while,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
can be on a load of different, factors. But
Mm,
obviously the important one here is geographical factors. And I
yeah.
think because in the behind the scenes interviews, Saoirse Ronan and Amy Liptrop were saying how helpful the locals were in the production of the film.
Mm,
And I think that's really nice that that's something that's going to be theirs.
I was just say, and it sort of keeps the production honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you say, it's an honest story. It's gonna, and obviously we have the person who actually originally went through this experience, like you said, who's written the screenplay, is presumably kind of involved in the film, and so
yeah,
it's going to keep it honest to the way of life, keep it
yeah,
honest to what really happened, and with the locals being there, it kind of it's a little bit more like it gets their stamp of approval,
yeah,
hmm
all that thing, and that gives us better stories. When a story feels more true to us, regardless of it could be about aliens or whatever, but
yeah,
if it feels true to us, especially if it's a true story and it feels true to us,
mm,
it just makes for a better story and a better, like just better art to be
yeah.
mm,
there around. It's going to affect you more, and it's going to be more meaningful as well as a result if it's actually closer to truth, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Yeah. I was gonna say something very similar, but I was gonna say it would be interesting to see if like like they said that the locals were very helpful, but it almost it like the importance of showing these different places around the globe really is and bringing those productions to those places is one getting like the kind of yeah stamp of approval, but also involving those locals in the production and giving those opportunities to people that might not have the
Yeah.
opportunities or
Mm,
um whether that's like through employment or like employing local people for that specific set or that specific location or just like yeah talking to them to see what it's actually like to live there um there's like no fault to that in like I can't see any fault to that at
No.
all because
mm,
it's all good stuff
Yeah.
basically and we need more of that instead of just you know flying out a whole team to a different country to film like 2 weeks where you could use those 2 weeks to employ local people and you could save
mhm,
like on the flights you could
Yeah.
get people into the industry you could do all of this good stuff um and you can almost tell from again from like the tiny clips that I've seen you can tell that it's I think Zach you said it's like making it an honest film
mm,
um you can tell that through the way that it's shot and the cinematography and you just know that it's just like
Yeah.
so close to the ground and um yeah
mm.
that's not the word I'm looking for but very humble. Yeah.
very grounded, isn't it? It makes the film
Program.
a lot more
Yeah.
feel a lot more grounded, and I
Yeah.
think this thing of filming on studio lots or filming on continuously just filming somewhere in London,
Yeah.
it is more of an economics thing of we
Oh
have
yeah.
all the infrastructure there already, and we have people we know, and
Yeah.
all
Instant
everything's
studios
there.
exists. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's just a budget thing. Whereas when they actually go out and do this, yes, it's a bigger risk. You're going to
Mm,
spend a bit more,
yeah.
but especially for a film like this, a social issue drama, it has
Yeah.
to feel real. You can get
Yeah.
away with, Deadpool and Wolverine, which I
Yeah.
enjoyed, feeling a little bit wacky, and
God,
it's not really
I mean,
okay. It was a studio
that's
lot and
what
not the
we
real
come to Deadpool
city.
and Wolverine for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's
Yeah.
fine. But when
Yeah,
you're going a social issue drama, it's a realistic movie. You really benefit from putting it in the real location where
Mm,
that story is meant to be taking place.
yeah. It's much more rewarding for the people making it and for the people watching it.
I imagine this is going to be a weepy too, so
I know. Yeah.
probably bring the
yeah,
tissues.
I don't know if it'll be on the same kind of grittiness level. It possibly might be, but it reminds me of Beautiful Boy with Timothy Chalamet and Steve
Oh yeah.
Carell.
yeah,
That was
Mm,
it was so good. It was an awful film, not in terms of like how good it was, but in terms of like the story and like how it ended, it was just awful. But not again, not like quality, but in terms of like the emotional side of it,
yeah,
it left you feeling awful
mm,
because of that's the reality of addiction.
yeah.
Um, and basically Timothy Chalamet's character was struggling with drug addiction. Steve Carell was the dad, and it kind of followed their relationship over a few years of this again relationship that the boy had with um kind of how to cope and deal with things.
yeah,
And it feels like it's going to be very similar to that, but just focusing on the person and not, maybe like the relationships around her. But
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. And I think it's also, I mean, obviously that you say is that kind of sad and it's a downer. I felt like this film is going to have a little bit more hope to it.
yeah.
yes, yeah,
He goes
A kind of a
deeper.
realistic hope. Like
yeah,
you kind of said with that line that's in the trailer
Yeah,
about, it doesn't go away. It doesn't get easy. It's just less hard.
yeah,
That kind of
yeah,
thing. Where you learn to cope with it and you learn to
yeah,
deal with it.
yeah. I mean,
And
you don't
obviously,
keep out of rehab and never
yeah, yeah,
have the
exactly.
desire to touch a drop of drink again.
yeah,
Yeah, it's sort of realistic kind of. I think that will be uplifting for people because obviously Amy Liptrot is someone now who is published a successful memoir, is now involved in this movie after actually having these experiences. So obviously there's kind of that factor already you kind of
Yeah,
know going in.
mm,
But it's so yeah, I think it's going to be one that's going to be able to explore these issues
yeah,
honestly and not shy away from the darker elements, but have that kind of
yeah.
realistic optimism still.
mm. I will just shout out to Amelie because Amelie, such a big fan of Saoirse Ronan, and she's not here.
Yes, that's sad.
Oh, it is
I
Sorry,
very
hope,
Amelie.
sad.
yeah, I hope that we've done you justice, Amelie, in this
Yeah.
discussion.
We'll
Oh.
watch it and we'll enjoy it, and then we can
Mhm.
discuss it
Yes,
next time.
We got to get Amelie's take on it back when,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
next month.
yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely.
dear. Can you just remind us when it's
of
on?
course. 11th to 14th of October, so showing it four
Sweet.
times, all evening, so 7:30 apart from the 13th, which is at 2:30, and the 14th of October one is a subtitled showing.
Yes. And quickly,
Nice.
just on that subtitled note, before we get into Joker, we have launched a campaign to raise £5,000 to purchase some oh, this is really annoying because I've forgotten the name of the actual glasses, but we're looking to purchase a pair of their smart glasses. And they're basically anyone can wear them. You can wear them over glasses, you can wear them over hearing aids or implants as well. And they're basically personalized subtitles. So instead of you being limited, or instead of the user being limited to what is shown as subtitled, you can basically come and see anything you like, and you can have your own personal subtitles. And you basically just put them on like a pair of glasses, and you will see subtitles appear on the screen, which is very cool. So we've just launched that to purchase them, and it's going really well. I don't know how much we've raised so far, but we have very speedily picked up the pace with donations and people like sponsoring seats and things. So that's exciting because one thing that I think has always been said with Saffron Screen, but is like we're trying to push it a lot kind of in the last year or so, is that cinema is for everyone. And I know a lot of people say that like cinema is for everyone, but actually like pulling through and making sure like it's accessible.
Yes, I think that we're making a good effort and that we're trying to be better.
I hope so. I think there's so much more that we can do, and I think this is one of the first steps. And if we like when we get these glasses, we'll be like one of the first cinemas in the UK to have these. So hopefully that will raise an awareness for like well, for the glasses and for accessibility in cinema. So I just had to like shove that in there because I know we have like at least one subtitled screening per program, and that's purely well, it's down to a few reasons why we don't have that one. Sometimes the films just don't have a subtitle version that the distributors can offer us. Sometimes um we don't have the slots for them in terms of the programming. But I know I'm not making excuses at all because like there's no excuse. Like every film should be subtitled in my opinion.
But
Um,
we're getting a solution now.
we're
So
getting a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the good
Yeah,
thing.
so I'm really looking forward to getting the glasses, and I'm really excited to trying them out and just kind of welcoming more people to the cinema. So I just had to slot that in there because
Yeah, definitely good thing to get in. So yeah, if you can, definitely do sponsor a seat and help
Mm,
us, get towards that. Because yeah, it's really awesome. Because I was talking to the chairman, Paul, about it
mm,
and about the technology. It's really cool, and how it works is really, it's incredible. Like a lot of effort was put in to this.
mhm,
So
yeah,
it's like sci-fi stuff that you can touch. It's just
mhm,
like it's going to make a difference to people's lives really directly.
Yeah.
So I think it's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. And on another exciting note, we have the second installment of Joker. So take it away.
Yes, we have Joker Folie et Deux.
Mm.
It's the subtitle, it's a French title. Um so yeah, this is the sequel to Joker. So Joker 2, they didn't want to call it that. They obviously wanted to go with this title, which means it's a French sort of psychological phrase that refers to a madness that's or a mental illness or an illusion that's kind of shared between two people who are in close
That makes so much
association.
senum now.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one thing.
So that's kind of when that title got released, that kind of, the internet went into like speculation mode. What does that
Mm,
mean? There's two people now. Okay, is there Harley Quinn, the
mm.
character that many people know as Joker's sidekick? Is she going to be in it now? Turns out the answer is yes. A version of that character, at least, and then we started to hear rumblings that it was a musical, and everyone went, what?
Yeah.
Uh, um, and it also turned out to be true. And then to top it all off, they released an image with Lady Gaga, and the internet exploded once again. But despite all those exciting revelations, it is actually quite a familiar team that's behind the film. So this is co-written and directed by Todd Phillips, who is famous for the Hangover trilogy, War Dogs, and obviously he co-wrote and directed the first Joker movie. And so he's returning with the kind of most of the other key creatives. So Larry Sher, who was a cinematographer. You've got Hilda Guðnadóttir, who was the composer, who won an Oscar for her score. And
Mm,
then we've got co-writer Scott Silver back again. And of course, Joaquin Phoenix in the lead role as Joker. That performance as well was also
mm.
Oscar winning for him. So there's a lot of continuity to be had with the first, despite all these kind of other things in the film kind of has going on for it now in the sequel, which is includes a $200 million budget as estimated.
Ooh.
Uh, to
Wow.
reference, the first one is estimated to have a budget between 55 million and 70 million.
Okay, so this is big
Ugh.
Mm,
step up. This is
Yeah.
yeah. So they're promising much bigger, hopefully much better for them. Obviously, they're expecting hopefully a bigger box office than the first
Mm,
one. If you remember, Joker was the first R rated or here 18 rated, or 50, sorry, a 15 or above rated movie to gain over 1 billion. Quite currently tracking less than the original Joker, tracking less than that. So I'm sure Warner Brothers will be very interested in the economics of this one. But I thought that's kind of an interesting insight kind of going in. But what we really care about, what's this film about? Where does it go? Which was a lot of people's questions when this was announced, since not a lot of people thought this was a film that needed a sequel or would have a sequel. But alas, we're here, and it's a big one. So our story starts. It's 2 years on from the original Joker movie, and Arthur Fleck, who's our version of Joker, he awaits trial for the murders he committed in the last movie at the Arkham Mental Facility, and a jury is being asked to consider whether he was non compos mentis when he committed those murders. Was he of sound mind? Can he be held responsible for his actions? And the result of that is going to determine whether he's going to be executed or not, whether he's going to get the death penalty. So there's big stakes immediately from the get-go. And it does conclude with a big courtroom drama, scene where he's got to convince a jury. That's our third act. But before then, it's quite a different film from a courtroom drama. In the facility, he meets another patient called Lee. So this is the character played by Lady Gaga, who is, yes, based on the comic book character Harley Quinn, who's often seen as Joker's sidekick. Her name's Harleen Quinzel. Probably the more grounded version of the story. They've obviously gone with Lee instead.
Okay.
But for all intents and purposes, an adaptation of that character. She, like many of people in the streets nowadays, kind of see Arthur as this kind of twisted hero, this kind of countercultural figure against the ruling elite. Like you kind of see in the last movie, there's these riots, everyone's dressed in clown makeup. She's kind of buys into that and buys into him as kind of this rebellious figure. And she becomes infatuated with him and thinks he should be set free. And shortly after, the two kind of begin this twisted, fantastical, you might say, bad romance.
Oh.
Oh.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Oh
It went in my
my
brain
God.
immediately as soon as I
Well
started
done.
writing the outline for this. I was like, "Yep, that Joker's going in there."
That was absolute genius.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You've actually left me speechless. I loved that. Thank you for that.
I'm glad I got to make someone's day better. I
Oh,
hope,
it was
I hope there's
great.
someone listening at home who
Yeah.
laughed at that.
Oh wow.
But this bad romance is largely depicted through, as we alluded to before, musical scenes.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this.
Yeah, so this is apparently one of the first things they agreed. So Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, they said, if we do a sequel, we want it to be more musical. If you remember, cast your mind back to 2019 and the first movie,
Yeah.
there are those probably musical elements you remember. You probably remember
Yeah.
him dancing on the steps.
Yeah.
You probably remember him dancing in the mirror in the bathroom. You might remember, That's Life and all those kind of, Send in the Clowns, or those kind of, classic kind of,
Yeah, it's very musically driven.
yeah. And so Todd Phillips, he sort of rejects that this is a musical. It is a musical,
Okay.
but he kind of rejects that title. He sees it as something else, and he sees it as the natural. Him and Phoenix see it as kind of the natural progression of the musicality of the first one. This is the way they see it, and this is kind of mostly depicted from what I've read, that it's kind of these fantasy scenes that are shared between Arthur and Lee. So that's kind of, that's the Folie, Deux, I guess, they're shared kind of illusions, and so this is kind of how these things play out within the movie, which I know was a big thing a lot of people were wondering about. Most of the songs, they're all covers. There's no original music.
Okay.
And it all seems to kind of take place in their head. And it's sort of mostly kind of old Hollywood kind of classic sort of
Yeah.
songs. And it's quite interesting sort of how they've considered the use of the music as a team. So they've sort of admitted already that's actually not the most beautiful renditions of the songs. They've kind of
See,
gone for
I
more
think that's fine though. I
character.
think yeah, if it matches the character and the situation, and I think like I'm glad that they're all covers because I think if no, not covers. I'm glad that they're all kind of older songs because I think if it was anything too modern, I think it would just pull you out of it. And
Yeah,
Too dated very quickly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it
I think
would. I
that
think,
suits it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, at the very least, they didn't go meta and have Lady Gaga do
Oh gosh,
one of
can you
her
imagine?
songs. That would be,
Yeah, that would have been disturbing.
yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
it's a bit, but yeah, it is kind of character based, and they
Mm,
sort of talked about. I've seen people write about kind of, um, it's quite interesting. Lee as a character, she sings sort of more music and songs that are about kind of power, and then Arthur is kind of these more romantic ballads and things.
mm,
And so you kind of see their dynamic. She's kind of praises him as almost this messianic leader, and she wants to lead something. She talks about making a mountain out of a hill. Um, and Arthur, he almost, maybe he sort of has assumed this position kind of unknowingly, almost. Um, but we also, and I actually want to get your perspective on this, with the first film. This does provide a big opportunity to have a big change of pace from the first film
Yeah.
because it's
mm,
very upbeat music. I mean, if you've seen any of the clips of the fantasy scenes that
Yes,
they've
it
released,
feels.
yeah, it's a lot of a different tone, and there's these very kind of artificial looking sets that are kind of old classic Hollywood sets, very theater-esque sets, very obviously sets, and so it gives kind of a different color to sort of
Yeah.
the very grounded kind of ways of doing things the first one had, and this film has as well. Kind of looking at some of the reviews, Robbie Collin, he was one of the people who kind of praised this move.
Yeah.
So this is he gave the film a 4 stars, and he kind of said that each musical number is a flight of fantasy that momentarily frees both character and film from their somber shackles. So he's
mm,
quite
Okay.
praising of it. Peter Bradshaw also sort of had a similar thing. He was not a fan of the original Joker. He thinks this one's a little bit better because
Yeah.
there's that relief from the depressiveness. But I
Yeah.
was just wondering, did you find, in the first film, were you too depressed essentially by the first one?
It's so hard because I think this is this is kind of a matter that's kind of been on the uprise with comic book films in general over the last few years. Is that, some of the more recent ones, both Marvel and DC, have maybe been a little too. Some people have said that it maybe a little bit too silly or included, music or kind of like comedic elements that some people feel aren't particularly necessary, and some people are wanting more of that sort of darker, more grounded
mm,
experience, especially with certain comic book characters. But then on the other side, you do get these people who do like the more sort of upbeat films. So I think this is going to be an interesting one because I think we'll have these, especially as comic book fans are known for taking deviations to source material very well,
mm-hmm.
or even just
Yeah, yeah.
deviation of what they see in their head as the ideal film. They take this very well. Hope I hope you detect the sarcasm in that reply there. So I think there will be the case of the one camp, the people who absolutely hate this
Yeah.
just on the nature of it being different. And
Yes.
there'll be the
Mm.
other camp of the people who didn't really like the first one, but will think that this is the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there'll be like a slight middle ground in there, but it won't be very. It'll be kind of like a Venn diagram sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting point you make because obviously the first one is quite it's got is also quite unlike most of
Yeah,
the Joker stories we see. It's
yeah,
this very
Mm,
long origin story.
yeah,
It's very grounded, very realistic.
yeah.
We don't see him as a criminal mastermind at any point.
yeah,
And Todd Phillips kind of in this one as well. He said we also don't see him. He's never a criminal mastermind
yeah,
in our version of it. So again, it'll be interesting to see how fans react to that because
yeah,
I've
Yeah.
seen the BBC's review. Nicholas Barber, he was not a fan of this one. Yeah, I think he liked the original. He gave it 2 stars, and he just sort of was pondering, right, we've seen the origin story, and he was just left wondering, shouldn't we get to see him This is a quote. Shouldn't we get to see him planning heists, crushing rivals, and perhaps even coming face to face with the Caped Crusader? And he says all these characters. We've got Harley Quinn as well. Harvey Dent is the district attorney, Two-Face,
Okay.
who is prosecuting him. And he says, it says, and this only inflames my frustrations more because we're seeing not one, not two, but three, and this, I quote again, almost but not quite Batman villains. And he says, this just annoys me that you're using the names essentially and not doing anything comic book with them.
Okay. Has this reviewer seen the Spider-Man villain spin-offs made in recent years? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
No. I think
Got some
if
beef.
you've seen those, including if you're going to come back to Morbius, I don't think you have as big a ground of complaint with Joker.
I love how we've gotten back to Morbius twice.
Yeah.
Well, it's
We've
Morbius
done-
time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I do think
You
like
said
that
it.
you're gonna like this is the thing, like I like we've touched on this, but this story, this version of the Joker, like it's just one version of the Joker. And that's why I like
Hmm.
love like one of the things I love about the comic books, and all of the like media that comes from these stories
Yeah.
about these characters in these books is that there are so many different interpretations of the same character. Like
Yeah.
there's different pronunciations of their names, there's different like origin stories, and they're like they're all fine. Like people have their own
People
like
will
Hmm.
just love and
I'm gonna
accept.
bring it up. I have my own, like I have my Supergirl in my head because I'm a massive Supergirl fan. If you hadn't noticed, with all of this
Yeah.
stuff in the background, like I know there's definitely like there's loads of different origin stories, there's loads of different names, there's loads of different pronunciations, whatever. But I have like this idea of who I see Supergirl as. But I'm like so intrigued by the different versions
Yeah.
Hmm.
regardless of my Supergirl. And I
Yeah.
think this is the same with the Joker. Like I had an idea of the Joker before I watched this film, and then when I saw the first one, like yes, it's very dark, and it is from a very different angle. That it kind of what I got from the first film was it was very much focused more on like the mental health of a person and how he gets
Hmm.
to that point and what kind of cracks him and gets to him. And after watching that one, I see the Joker in this like completely different way. Because beforehand, I was like, oh yeah, the Joker's just like a maniac. He's choosing to do these things. And yes, he's still choosing to do these things, but you have that backstory to kind of make it make a bit more sense. Not that it
Hmm.
makes it any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
you can.
yeah.
It's just one version of
Yeah.
the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting point that I just in my head. So there isn't because Margot Robbie, who of course has played a different version of Harley Quinn
Exactly.
in
Hmm.
recent DC films, she said about how she pointed out how there are so many male roles that were sort of passed down by several actors through decades. There's not
Mm,
much for women, and she wanted Harley Quinn to sort of be a role that can be passed down from woman to woman. Because I mean, with men you've got James Bond, Sherlock Holmes, Tarzan,
mm,
and even the Joker, you've got Heath Ledger,
Hmm.
Jared Leto.
yeah.
It's really driving me mad, but I can't remember the name of Michael Keaton's Joker.
Jack Nicholson.
Yes, Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson. You've kind of got all these different portrayals,
Yeah.
but you kind of don't really get that as much, even with female DC characters.
Yeah.
It's not as if
Hmm.
there are hundreds of versions of Wonder Woman. You've got
Yeah.
Linda Carter and Gal Gadot, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've not got a new Wonder Woman popping up every 5 years or so, like
Yeah.
you get
No.
In a
with
way, like
Batman or
a bit
Superman.
more excited to see how Lady Gaga plays her
Yeah,
different
Hmm.
that character is from Margot Robbie's character because I absolutely loved Birds of Prey. I loved that Harley Quinn. I
yeah,
just
Hmm.
everything
Hmm.
about her, I was like, oh my God, you are amazing. Not her
Yeah.
choices, obviously.
yeah.
But, like it was more of like a golden retriever puppy version of her, and I feel like this is gonna be the complete opposite.
Yes, this is going to be.
Um
Yeah.
and again, it's just another version of a character. Like
Yeah.
you can explore characters in so many different ways and
Hmm.
still be the
And,
same person.
and to kind of hit on it, there's a few things I've been reading that kind of are hitting on a lot of the points you guys have been making. So
Mm,
the Empire review by John Nugent, he made a lot of the same points that you guys have just been making. so he finishes his review by saying, Folie is not the definitive Joker story. Maybe
Mm,
there will never be one, but no other adaptation has burrowed this far under the character's face painted, mutilated skin. So, like you say,
mm.
this is the one that's like, okay, it's not the definitive version. There's never going to be a definitive version. But like you said with the first one, um, it gave you that insight into why he behaves like that,
Yeah,
that kind of philosophy. So that there's a psychological interest much more in this one that maybe isn't there with, say, Jack Nicholson's version of the character. But probably moving on to kind of the kind of central thing of this. We've been talking a lot about Joker, but kind of the
yeah,
new special shiny thing like in this film is Harley Quinn is Lee,
yeah,
played by Lady Gaga, and like you guys have been saying, the role was sort of made popular by Margot Robbie, at least in sort of live action. Of course, the character had appeared in animated media a lot, and obviously in the comic books, played by Arlene Sorkin and Tara Strong, and they all have their great spins on it in animated. But now we're starting to see it in live action, and quite a lot of people haven't really actually compared Gaga to Robbie. It's quite
mm,
interesting. No one's like I haven't none of the reviews go, oh, Robbie was like this, Gaga was like this. They kind of just talk about Gaga by herself.
Good,
like,
And
because
pretty
you don't need to compare women all the time.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think maybe because
This
I'd be interested to know if it's because they're so different, or if I don't know. It's weird.
I think it might be that because obviously, like you said, Margot Robbie's one is much more sort of wouldn't say camp, but kind of
Oh, I don't, yeah, yeah,
but it's more comic booky. Obviously, that was in the wider DCU or
yeah.
DCEU with that, that had Superman in it and had Wonder Woman in it. It was a lot more of a fantastical sort of
Mm,
world that she inhabited. Here, it's obviously that realistic one of that first Joker movie. And basically, between all the critics who have so I should point out, critics have been sort of divided on the movie. That's I think you have to remember that the first one was also quite divisive with critics, even though it was a smash for audiences. But all of the critics basically say the same thing about Gaga, which is she's brilliant. She gives, a very good kind of grip and grit to this character, and she's got a clear kind of thing going on.
yeah.
But actually, she's underused, basically all of them. So, like Robbie Collins, he kind of says she's great, but besides outside of the songs, she's not actually very there that much. Peter Bradshaw says that Phoenix and Gaga are actually kept away from each other for long periods of the film.
Interesting.
They're actually separated. But everyone basically says she's great musically in those scenes. She's good when she's allowed to act. But actually, for kind of the premise of the title, at least, being based around the addition of her character, she's actually not in it as much as you nearly think.
That's almost a well. I mean, I had high hopes for her performance, but that would be a real shame if if I come away and think, yeah, no, I wanted to see more of that character in not in the leave me wanting more kind of way, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, you want to feel like you got to explore that
Yeah,
character fully, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's a bit of a shame when I read that. But after
yeah.
all, it is obviously the film is Joker, and they wanted to keep true to it being about him, I suppose. And yeah, it certainly does that. Every review also notes the chemistry between Joker and Harley is really good once it's there. Kind of at the very beginning, you immediately clicks this twisted, again, bad romance. It is like it's very present, and again across all critics I've read that who liked the movie, you didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and her, I would say her musical contributions were definitely met a lot more positively than Joaquin Phoenix's.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah,
Nothing offensive to no offense to Joaquin Phoenix. Um,
no.
I feel like the music thing is it's gonna be one of those things that just weirdly works. Like I just
Yeah.
have I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of the best scenes in the original one were the musical scenes or
Yeah,
really memorable bits.
that's what
So I feel
everyone
like,
remembers is the dancing on the stairs, right?
yeah, and they go back there, of course, in this one as
Oh,
well.
yes.
So you're gonna get the homage to that scene.
Mm,
So I'm looking forward to that. But I should mention beyond Gaga, there's actually a bit of a bigger supporting cast who I feel like have flown under the radar.
mm,
So you got Steve Coogan, who is a journalist who comes to interview Joker, and you've got Brendan Gleeson, who's a prison guard,
Oh,
um, who is
interesting.
sort of taunts and abuses him while he's in the facility. So again, you're seeing that kind of similar themes of how how we treat the mentally ill,
Yeah.
and things like that. So again, we got that very gritty theme. This is a very thematic movie. Again, it's focusing a lot actually on the idea of him as Joker as a countercultural figure and kind of who is he? Steve Coogan's journalist character actually asks him, should I call you Joker or Arthur?
Yeah.
When he sits down to interview him. Again, everyone says these supporting characters are also really, really good. Um, and kind of this is actually the more interesting stuff. The musical gives us a relief, but there was also a lot of people who felt that it sort of was padding the runtime with the musical
I was
stuff.
about to ask about how long the runtime was.
So it's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Okay.
I was
so it's not
expecting more 3. Okay.
So it's not 3. I think that's a similar length to the last one, but a lot of people kind of accused it. So Nicholas Barber, the BBC journalist again, um, he says instead of moving the story along as the songs and musicals should, they slow it down. You're left with the feeling that Phillips simply didn't have enough of a plot to fill another 2 hours without them,
Okay.
and which is a bit worrying. And
Yeah.
I was quite shocked when there was a sequel. I wasn't shocked because it made a lot of money, but you would just never think, would you,
Yeah.
from the first one, there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
Especially this style of a sequel, not one that actually explores him as the supervillain.
Mm.
So I was just wondering, I mean, were you after you watched, came out of Joker in 2019, were you like kind of like, "Oh, I want to see more, I want a sequel."
I think I could see it happening. I remember coming out and I like one of the things that stuck with me is walking out of the cinema while Here Comes the Clown start singing is playing over the
Mm,
credits. Um and it did feel like it was wrapped up with a bow and it was like done, even though it was a very
yeah.
messy like bow, just because of the actual like content of the storyline. But it
Mm,
does feel like it could have ended and there couldn't have been a sequel, and it could have that was the beginning. Like the end felt like the beginning of the Joker, basically.
yeah.
And that would have been like fine.
Mm,
But I am excited for the second. I am excited for Joker. Uh,
yeah.
because that's
Which is-
just easier to say for me. Um, but
Full say do doesn't roll off the tongue.
Folie,
Yeah.
not right now, and I can't even say Gemma Arterton very quickly. Um, but yeah, no, I am excited for the second one, and I think it will work. I just think like it's one of those films which could have done without a sequel. But
Yeah.
not saying it shouldn't have had one because I do think it would work. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ones that prove you wrong. I mean, I was on the bandwagon of there shouldn't be a sequel. I love the first one, but there shouldn't be a sequel. And
Yeah.
then I saw the first trailer that they released, which I just thought was absolutely magnificent. I
Oh,
thought,
that shot of
oh yeah,
yeah, you know
yeah,
exactly which one I'm
yeah.
on
I know
about.
exactly what you're
With
Yeah.
talking.
the
Yeah,
smile, I'm just like that. I want to know one, how many takes that took, and two, the actual logistics of making that happen. Like,
mm,
how did Joaquin Phoenix, did he have like a mark to hit, or was he just eyeball it,
yeah,
or
And can I just say, when that first trailer came out, in the first sort of couple of notes, I thought they were going to do Pure Imagination, which
oh yeah.
would have been an interesting one. I mean, that's
Hmm.
obviously Warner
mm,
Brothers don't want to be doing that so soon after Wonka, but
No.
yeah. It'd be
I
yeah, a
know.
bit of a weird brand association, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
I
that.
Guess as Willy
But
Wonka and the Joker go hand in hand, evidently.
feel
yeah,
like they would though. Like I
Yeah.
feel
kind
like
of
like
do.
Especially
horror
Gene
film,
Wilder,
they'd be
like
friends.
Boat Tunnel. There's
Oh.
Yeah.
no easy way of knowing.
Oh my God.
Oh, this needs to
Oh,
happen. I bet someone's written a fanfic about it.
Probably.
oh,
Probably.
probably,
There's fanfic
probably,
and everything.
probably. But yeah, that shot is a absolutely, is a
It's just
staggering
beautiful.
shot. It's the final shot of the first trailer, with the kind of for people who haven't seen it,
Mm.
Joker, Harley Quinn puts lipstick on this kind of
Yes, yeah.
window and Joker smiles into the kind of shape of the lipstick.
Nice.
Uh it's a very cool shot. And
Like
the
that
rest
that
of the
shot.
film also looks really beautiful, just like the first one.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I've been won over by the trailers. I know it's going to get a lot of noise critically. I think they're interesting insights into what the film could be like
Yeah.
and about how people think about the film. But I think you've got to remember it was a smash hit with audiences before, and the critics were divided about it. As well as being one of that trailer, I am a really big musical theatre fan, so I'm kind of interested to see how they do that. But I know I'm not expecting West Side Story level
Mhm.
dancing or
Oh yeah.
anything, but it should be a fun one, I think. Or at least it should be an interesting one to find out after all this
Mm,
time. What is it
yeah.
like? What is Joker 2 like? But if indeed you would like to find out what Joker 2 is like, if you'd like to see how Lady Gaga fits into a Joker film, a musical courtroom psychological thriller Joker superhero film,
Wow.
if you'd like to see that, it is on the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st of October, all evening showings at 7:30 p.m. So
You could do a
it's
double
only
bill with Buffalo Kids on the 19th or 20th
Good.
if you really wanted to.
yeah.
Whiplash. That would be
Yeah,
Whiplash.
definitely a total whiplash.
Or
Maybe
equivalent to Barbenheimer.
Oh.
Oh, it's a new one.
Oh.
What's that? Buffalo Joker?
Buffalo Joker.
Doesn't have the
Buffalo
same ring, does it?
Folie and you. Buffalo New. I don't know.
But we've also got quite a few other fun films occurring in
Mm.
the
Mhm.
month of October. Right, deep breath. We have got Kneecap, Lee, Sing Sing, The Critic, The Outrun, Disney Junior Cinema Club, tickets only £3.
Oh yeah.
The Fly Fishing Film Tour, Royal Ballet and Opera, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Joker, Buffalo Kids, Firebrand, The Wild Robot, A Different Man, My Favourite Cake, and the Pop-Up Cinema Halloween 1978 at Ferrycroft House, and
Yes.
another event that's occurring at Ferrycroft House in the near future, November 17th, Hollywood's Greatest Stars Film Course, which is we've done a few film courses recently. This one's very good, and I'm rather excited by it. It should be a very fun day of talking about Hollywood. Should be fantastic. So if you
Mm.
fancy any of that, then go on over to our website, book yourself some tickets. You know you want to. You know
Yeah.
it makes sense. You know you want to do that double bill of Buffalo and Joker.
Oh yes. I'm very
I'll
excited for
see
that.
all you guys there. I'm gonna be disappointed if you're not there at both.
Yes. I mean that we it is like there are some really good ones. I'm looking for
Mm.
that looking forward. Wow. I am looking forward to there we go. The Outrun and Joker. I
Mm.
think those are my two like the
Yeah.
top two for
Mm.
October for me.
Yeah, you got some probably big. Imagine pretty. The Outrun Joker. These are probably going to be awards contenders.
I
You
hope
know,
so.
and then at the end of the month, finish it off with a spooky bang. If you haven't been seeing
Mm.
any spooky films, you
Ooh,
got
disco.
Yeah.
There's a
Halloween.
disco after Halloween as well.
Yes, yes, exactly. If you haven't got Halloween plans,
Yes.
we've just
Then,
given you
then
Halloween
to quote
plans.
Gary Girls, get your glad rags on and boogie on down.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my
it's
God.
gonna be great. You can dress up. You don't have to dress up, but I mean it's Halloween. You should dress up. Um, yeah, I need to watch that beforehand, so I don't think I can make that one actually. But yeah, anyway, we've just given you Halloween plans. So don't say we don't give you anything.
Thank you for having me again.
You're
It's
welcome.
all
Thank you
good.
for jumping on.
Yeah, we love having you on, and it was really interesting talking about the Outrun. And I'm
Mhm.
sure, we can get you on again at the very least for that end of year show for the
Yeah,
frame by frame awards.
I think we should. I
Um,
definitely think that needs to happen.
I'm gonna,
Absolutely.
I mean, the audience won't be able to see this because it's audio, but I'll wear a suit. Or I'll
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wear my suit.
Yes.
Put that as the thumbnail.
You know
Yeah,
what? We could do a
yeah.
live recording at the cinema
Oh my
of the
God.
Or we could all
awards.
we could all do it in like suits or
Oh,
something. And
Yeah, we'll
oh,
invite
it'd be
Saoirse
great.
Ronan, we'll invite like all of the stars of the films, and then it'll just be like us sat
Yeah.
there, no one else turning
I'm
up.
sure they'll love to come. But I'm
We
sure
have a
that
red carpet.
you do,
Yeah.
yes.
We do. It's hidden. I'm not gonna
In
tell you
the
where it
in a
is.
secret place that only staff members know. Zach, do you know where the red carpet's hidden?
Oh, I don't think I've been shown the red carpet yet, actually.
Oh,
Okay, well, you'll be shown it
I'm
soon, I'm sure.
I'm in training. I'm in
Like,
training.
if you haven't beforehand, next time I see you there, I'll show you. Don't worry.
Okay, okay.
that's
Okay. Okay.
Oh no, I think we
Oh,
should get the red carpet out more often. Like, we've
absolutely.
got it, might as well flaunt
It's
it.
only really for like kids' parties to get it out.
Yeah, it's like special events, and I'm like, I am a special event. Why is it not out when I just come and watch a
Yeah,
film? Like,
I mean, it definitely better be out for that Buffalo Kid Joker double bill, or we
oh,
riot.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
should. There'll be
Yeah.
popcorn thrown. I'm like, I was excited for both of them, but now I'm even more excited because I just feel like they're both going to be really like
Mm.
they're going to be really meaty. That's all I'm going to say about them.
They're gonna have a lot to talk about, both of them.
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
Even if
absolutely.
it's like constructive criticism, I don't want to say negative.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everyone will be wanting an opinion on it,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yes.
be a lot of talking after those films, and we've had a lot of talking today
Yes.
about movies. So
I need a voice rest while I cram some dinner into my mouth.
Oh, you haven't
yeah.
eaten yet? Oh, I'm so
Oh my
sorry.
God. Oh my God.
I didn't think
We'll have
you
to go
guys
let
were
Toby
this
eat. This is a
long.
humanitarian
Yeah, we don't let our staff eat until we've done. I'm joking.
yeah. This is a
Um,
humanitarian issue here. We need to let
yeah.
Toby
Well,
yeah.
popcorn is all we get.
Oh no, no, thank you
Oh,
though, both of you. It has been a pleasure once again. I hope everyone has
absolutely.
kind of really, really loved hearing us talk about these films, and I hope we've convinced you if you weren't excited or didn't want to see them beforehand. And we will see you at the cinema. At the cinema? At the
Absolutely.
cinema.
See you at the movies.
See you there,
See
folks.
the movies. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. I just didn't. Wasn't cool how I